Welcome to Thursday Flow podcast. I'm Margarita and I am very excited to be here. I'm a confidence coach, life coach, mentor, retired teacher, and currently also a tutor to school age children. And I've been at my craft for several decades now. But today I'm here to talk to you about reclaiming your confidence and how to overcome imposter syndrome. It's something that everyone deals with all over the world and at all ages. I have come across it in accomplished high achievers all the way down the ladder to folk like me who dare to dream of stepping out of their current occupation and diving into something totally new, something totally not them. So, this is going to be a great beginning on giving you the tools and tips that help you overcome this no matter where you are in life. But before we begin, let me take you back several years to a time when it struck me and how I navigated it. I want to start at the beginning because this is important to show you how I've had to, first of all, acknowledge that I had it, and secondly, how I overcame, or more specifically, mastered this myself. Now, I just loved being a teacher. Back in the late 70s and 80s, there was so much more freedom in our teaching, and we had loads of fun doing the mundane things with a twist of ingenuity. I really got a buzz out of taking the new students appointed to my class at the beginning of each year, taking them from point A, where they were starting at, and progressing them through to their point B at the end of the year. Developing them as a whole, not just their academic ability. It was very rewarding. I just loved it. It was what I was born to do. That is, until I began to become disgruntled with living a life of constant scarcity, being married to a farmer. And those of you who are married to a farmer will relate to that. It was a bucket with far too many holes that consistently devoured my income and gave me nothing in return. So, to combat this, I dived into the network marketing arena. I loved the product, the K8 and AGIC hydrolyzed ionized water machine. And here I am talking to people about the value of the water. Enter imposter syndrome. This little voice became this loud voice asking me if I was serious. You're a teacher, not a salesperson. And so for a long time, I let doubt, posing as imposter syndrome, rule. I was not yet confident enough to step up to the plate and declare my status. It can be intimidating, but I had to learn that if you don't seize moments and you don't work at your craft, it's going to be hard for you to ever believe in yourself and have confidence in yourself. So, as life is wont to do, it had other plans for me and took me along another path. The path of divorce after 40 years of marriage, and what followed was a nightmare of a journey where my physical and mental health plummeted to rock bottom. It was along this path that I discovered the amazing and incredible value of coaching. It was the last key that unlocked my hidden potential in confidence, which has led to so many achievements since. Now, I commenced this course with absolutely no intention of becoming a coach. My friend recommended it to clear away the last of the rubbish that was lingering and fluttering about like the rubbish at the tip. This was a revelation, a light bulb moment when I realised just how valuable this skill could be to help other women who had likewise gone through a life-changing situation. Because sadly, I saw few along my journey who had not been able to pull through successfully. And believe me, staying stuck is not a good place to be. And so it was that I ventured forth into the world of coaching, life coaching. And yes, you guessed it, once again, the little voice kicked in, wanting to hold me back. But this time I had the skills to talk back to it and put it firmly in its place. I felt more and more comfortable sitting in that seat as I progressed through the designated number of pro bono coaching students, as I just kept getting better at my craft. And I loved it. I was not an imposter. I had lived life experiences. I was a qualified coach. I had taught for over 40 years and had loved it. I now had the testimonials of the pro bono students, and I know I am a successful confidence builder coach. I just love my work. So I'm chugging along, developing my skills, and I'm becoming more and more confident in what I do. Like teaching, I am loving this new arena. Things are going just fine, and then, as life is wont to do, I hit a little bit of a wall. Well, actually, I slammed into a mountainside. Hot on the heels of divorce and my life turning upside down, came the diagnosis of stage 3 metastases ovarian cancer. Well, my world once again crumbled around my feet. And yes, I had the pity party. And then, after several hours, a little voice said, "Do you know what, Margarita? You've got this. You've got the skills to navigate this." And as I was sat on my haunches, as I realised that yes, I did have the skills to navigate this, mindset skills, which I so wished I'd had during the divorce. But hey, that was what sent me down the path of acquiring those skills. So I put on my mindset armour and became determined that I had a different exit ticket to this life. At the suggestion of a friend, my ups and downs in a journey of cancer became their own story on Facebook. As she said, it would be a source of inspiration for others. And so it has been. So this is what I want you to know. You don't need a life-threatening, defining moment for you to claim that confidence. You can do it today, right now. And what I will teach you over the next few weeks, you will discover that you already have a gift within you. And the world needs it. The world needs you. So I put on my warrior woman, as a dear friend calls it, armour, and I forged ahead, determined to leave by a different door because I still had a lot of unfinished work to do. I was and still am on a mission to help other women navigate successfully through their life-changing crisis, coming out of survival mode into thriving mode. And isn't it interesting how one thing leads to another? Over time, I found myself starting Extraordinary Ordinary Women, a YouTube channel where I interview women who have had a dream or an idea and followed it through to fruition. Whether that was successful or not wasn't important. It was the journey that was important and what they learned along the way. And guess what featured in many of their stories? That's right, you guessed it. That has now evolved into presenting women who have lived through social issues such as domestic violence and suicide. Issues that are often swept under the carpet, but need to be aired and given life so that other women may benefit. Having flung myself wholeheartedly into various aspects of presentations, the cancer journey had put a halt on many of my activities, and I have had to step back from some. And so podcasting was birthed. Did I ever see myself in these areas? Certainly not. However, it all began with stepping out of my comfort zone and learning to harness that imposter syndrome and develop my confidence outside my comfort zone. So, folk, we are constantly learning. We don't stop learning just because we don't go to school anymore. The day you stop learning is the day you stop growing. In learning, one needs to ask themselves two handy little questions. What do I need to get better in? What do I need to do to make that next step? And then one day I'm with a group of coaches who have been coaching for decades. And while I'd been teaching for decades, the coaching was still relatively new. And guess what came creeping stealthily in? That's right, doubt disguised as imposter syndrome. It was about this time that I was chatting with a dear friend who had opened her garden and provided cafe service with homemade cakes and a wonderful range of brunch ideas that one could enjoy in the most exquisite garden that meandered down to the river. She hosted weddings and garden parties, was even featured in one of those beautiful high-end gardening magazines, the very voguish style. Sadly, she'd closed it with COVID. However, she re-emerged building a community garden festival and garden trail going through 6 towns. Are you getting the picture of just what this woman is capable of, how accomplished she is? Well, this very accomplished friend just happened to say in passing to me about something she was attempting. Do you know what? I just don't think I can do it. I feel like an imposter. Well, I nearly fell off the chair. To hear this highly successful, very confident, self-assured woman who had achieved a community award for the huge success of the festival and garden trail she founded, to hear her say this was mind-blowing and reminded me that it doesn't matter at what level you are, imposter syndrome and a lack of confidence can easily set in. What I learned from that experience of being surrounded by mature coaches was that it was necessary to quickly reframe the fear and the imposter feeling. Because I don't know everything, but I do know a heck of a lot. I had a great group of people around me, and we're learning together. Because we have a committed passion together to move things forward, and most importantly, the people I hang around with, and most importantly, the people I hang around with are worth whoops, my memory's just taken over. Have the ethos of a rising tide raises all ships. And so it was a valuable learning experience. So, how in the world do successful people keep achieving? Because they keep working at their craft. And that's exactly what I did. And so, to this day, I stay agile in the process. I stay open to growth. I'm in a growth mindset, learning all the time. And it propels me forward in a positive frame of mind with strength through each hiccup life presents and the major health catastrophes that seem to be coming my way. I am confident of my projection. I'm going forward. So stop looking at what if it doesn't? That's the sort of question the imposter will have you ask. Instead, ask yourself, what if it all works out for me? Just imagine that. It has for me. It's not been perfect, far from it, but it's propelled me forward every time because I've learned something new. If you shift your mindset, it will shift your life. As Henry Ford once said, if you believe you can, you can. If you believe you can't, you can't. Quite a simple sentence, but oh my gosh, how so profound. And you may have lost traveling through life. You've gone through a divorce, a health crisis. You might have lost much. I certainly did. However, rest assured, it's not what you've lost that matters. It's what you are going to do with what you have left that is vital. Because at the end of the day, you didn't lose your gift or your talent. Your confidence, your purpose, direction, gifts, talents, they were just hiding, keeping safe. So, in saying this, as we go forward, you have a gift in you that you can keep making strong. There is nothing you can't overcome or do. And isn't it worth taking the risk to achieve that? I've worked on my craft and I've seen the results of helping people. And I've seen the results of people staying stuck. So I care about what I do. It's when you go from me to we, when you take your gifts and talents to meet the world's needs, you can stand in your purpose all day. I've done this unconsciously. I have used my adversities to move me forward, ever growing. So today was an introduction to what I'm going to talk about over the next 3 weeks. You will hear some points that will allow you to advance to the point of one day being able to confidently step into the person you believe you are meant to be. And every time that imposter syndrome sneaks back in, you'll have the tools to deal with it. Because people need you to confidently show up in the world. Because when you do, we all win. And I look forward to sharing time with you in the next episode. With heart, Margarita.